Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. My name is Ben. We come to you live every single day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had a little confusion this morning on getting the stream set up, so sorry we're a little bit late today. Today is Monday, May 2nd, and it has been an entire year since the May crash. It's been an entire year now.
Wow.
12 months since we had the dramatic fall from the top. Some people would say that would mean that this would be maybe, we could see Bitcoin bottom this month. Is there anything that anybody's seeing right now to think that that's not a possibility? I mean, it's certainly a possibility at this point.
To bottom this month?
Yeah, certainly it's a possibility.
Sure.
12 months. So basically the idea is that we had 12 months. Generally Bitcoin bottoms 12 months after the top. The price did top out one more time, but it was barely. It went from 64 to 65. So what is that, like 5%?
Not even 69.
69.4. Yeah. So, but the thing is that the retail was not really part of that pump. The retail left in May. So, and if you really go back and you look at the chart and you look at, Bitcoin moving from, breaking new all-time highs in December all the way up to, 64,000 in May. I mean, that was a pretty parabolic move. I think if we had that and then we didn't have the reset and then where it basically double topped, I think we'd be looking at this market a lot differently. But guys, I mean, what is going on with the economy right now? I think really this is a Bitcoin channel, right? We're a crypto channel, not just Bitcoin. But I think the more interesting things that are going on right now are in the world economy, are in what's going on with inflation, what's going on with stagflation, what's going on with housing, what's going on with interest rates, mortgage rates. Are we heading towards a cliff in the economy? And if we do see, the economy fall off that cliff, then what does that mean for Bitcoin? So a lot of people have been mentioning about Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. I mean, can these guys die already? I mean, Can we just be honest? Can we just say it? Like, they're holding people back from believing in the future. These are old men yelling at Bitcoin. Jamie Dimon, of course, once famously called Bitcoin rat poison. I wish those two guys would take it. So
I think
that'd be good.
It was Warren Buffett that said.
Was he the one that said it?
Yeah, rat poison.
Well, somebody.
And it is in the title that he said he wouldn't pay $25 for all the Bitcoin, in the world, which is pure just a lie. That's not true. He would. Even he's smart enough to do that and sell it. Anybody who says that is just not being intellectually honest, which is your favorite.
I think here's the thing. If you look at let's take Michael Jordan, for instance. Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player that ever lived. We all know that, right? He was 6 championships in 8 years. The 2 years he didn't win, he was sitting out. If he doesn't ever semi-retire in between 94 and 96, then he probably wins 8 in a row, if we're honest here. Probably wins 8 in a row. What happens? Comes back, he wins 6 out of 8. Crazy. Last shot, right? Against Byron Russell. Crossover, fade away, hits the game winner against Utah. Legacy was perfect. It was perfect. But then what happened? He had to come back as a Wizard. He had to come back as a Washington Wizard a few years later. He did okay. He scored some points, but there's nothing like going out on top. Warren Buffett had a chance to go out on top as the greatest investor of all time. But right as we are at this pivot, the swing point between the old economy and the new digital economy, what will eventually become the world currency down the road, maybe 50 years down the road, is Bitcoin. And here you have this guy who had a chance to go out on top, still making comments about stuff he doesn't understand. And, him and Charlie Munger are both talking about how, Bitcoin or the stock markets, they've become just a casino. Well, what the thing about a casino is? Most people lose, right? Most people lose in a casino. That the house always wins. But the thing about a casino is that's so appealing to people is that you can have an average person, it doesn't matter what your job is, Doesn't matter what your education level is. Doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're of age to be able to gamble. And you've got an opportunity to walk in there and walk out with big winnings. That is what Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger hate. They hate the idea of a normal person who is not in their class being able to go in and make money for themselves and have an opportunity to win. That's what they hate. They want to be rigged for accredited investors. We've already exposed that scam. That's what they want. You are not worthy, if you're a normal person, to be able to go into the stock market or to be able to go into crypto and to be able to make money. This is all about protecting the big boys. I mean, don't you understand this? And you also understand Bitcoin has a bigger market cap than his stock, right? Berkshire Hathaway. Mm-hmm. More people believe in Bitcoin than in your scam real estate company or whatever the crap that is. Okay? An excuse for you to get tax breaks. So that's what these people hate. And I wish these people would just die off like the dinosaurs that they are. Maybe go extinct. Because it is time to realize that the normal person, the average person, deserves the same opportunities that those rich billionaire investors have. And that's what they hate about crypto. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Before we get started, DZ, you want to come up real quick? We're going to talk about Pluto Alliance real quick. Go ahead and give them the spiel here, DZ.
All right, real quick, we are pausing the drawing for 24 hours. We had the staking page down for just a little bit on a Thursday. We want to make sure it's very, very fair, but staking.plutoalliance.com. You go there, you stake your alien. Stake your alien there. Here is the good news. Only about 2,900 people have staked their alien. That is tripling, essentially, what is going to be our payout here. So if you're going to make, say, $500 for staking your alien this month, $1,500. So we're giving you 24 hours. Stake your aliens, stake your Pluto V1s on staking.plutoalliance.com. And we will pick the winner tomorrow. And who's going to win? I don't know. I'm hoping Mercury. Merch coming soon.
Mercury. Well, we've already chosen Uranus. So where do we go from here?
All right. Well, I'll drop the link to that in both the Twitch and YouTube chat as well as the description.
Yeah. And so, guys, apologize. We're going to have to wait 24 hours to do that. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it today. But we just want to make sure it's fair. We want to make sure everybody's got the opportunity. And, I mean, look, we've had about 30% of people stake. That's probably about what we expected it to be, honestly. So, you know, we just don't want anybody to lose the opportunity to stake and then they choose their alien.
Final thing. I want to say Kenny Smith, Robert Ory, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kryjak. So they would have gave a really good shot against Michael Jordan in the Bulls.
Yeah, they would have done all right. They would have done all right. That's the epic matchup everybody wanted to see, right? We never got it. So, all right, moving on here. Don't forget to follow us, BitBoy_crypto here on Twitter. 836.1 thousand followers. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, BitBoy_crypto. And, of course, hit merch if you want some cool, you know, we got all of our shirts on here. You can check it out. I mean, the best stuff in crypto is not even close.
Yeah, Tom Crown was texting me over the weekend. He was loving the stuff he got.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's comfortable, too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's check out the markets. They are not so great. Yeah. We are now back below 1.8 trillion. We are at $1.73 trillion. 24-hour volume not really budging, 91 billion. Bitcoin dominant. Look at that spike, 42.5%. Look at ETH back at 19.6%.
Hanging strong.
Tying, I think, a few month high here. 19.6% is as high as we got when things dropped. ETH gas, it's going to cost you 55.5 Paraguays to send an ETH transaction. Looking at Bitcoin right now, coming at 38,697, and I think it went down to 37.4 was the lowest it hit. We've been telling you guys, you know, there's this thing out there. There's a thing out there that's, you know, when a YouTuber tells you to buy, you better, or tells you to sell, you better make sure that, you know, that's when you go all in. The YouTubers are the reverse indicators. Well, I tell you what, it's real easy for those of us who make videos every single day and the market moves dramatically every single day to find some place where we said we were bearish and it goes up, and find some place where we say we're bullish and it goes down. But let me tell you, if you don't think we're in a bear market right now, then you obviously are brand new to crypto. You know what's interesting is I find there's two kinds of people out there, and they're extreme opposites that still believe we are in a bull market. Number one, people that have already made a ton of money from crypto. If you're already super rich from crypto, then it's easy for you to be bullish because you only think of being bullish over the long term. You know, you think, well, it's still a good place to buy because you know it's going to go up much higher.
Well, and it's easy to become disconnected, I think, from
exactly
regular people.
100%.
Yeah.
And you have the opposite end of the spectrum. New people who are brand new to crypto that are so down, they're desperately needed to go up.
They've lost a lot of money. They haven't made anything yet.
Oh, Plan B now says we're in a bear market.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Well,
so it is what it is, guys. At this point, we're preparing. I mean, actually that's false. We are prepared.
Yeah,
should have been prepared for this spot. And we talked about for a long time. The bear market's where the millionaires are made. So, it is what it's. No one on YouTube is qualified to give advice. No one on YouTube in crypto. I've been in crypto for 10 years now. If I'm not qualified, who is? If I'm not qualified, then who is? A financial advisor?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay. So I want to know, buddy, you tell me, what are your qualifications for someone being able to give advice in crypto? Because I guarantee you, I know more of my little pinky finger about crypto than you will ever know, sir. So yeah, I think I'm qualified. I think TJ's qualified. I think Carl's qualified. I think Altcoin Daily's qualified. I think Wendy's qualified. I think George is qualified. I think we're all qualified. So, there's no aptitude test. But here's what you need to know. You know who's not qualified to talk about crypto? Somebody who just got into crypto last week.
Mm-hmm.
They just got into crypto last week. You shouldn't be listening to them. You need people that have been around. All those people that I named have all been around for multiple cycles. Okay. Someone that's new, that has just gotten in, that doesn't really understand the Bitcoin cycles because they haven't lived it. Those are people, look, they can still have good stuff to listen to as well. They can make great points. But until you've experienced one full cycle in crypto, it's hard for you to really speak with perspective. That doesn't mean you can't come in and just, if you're great at charts, come in and make some good points on charts. But Ethereum 28.20, Binance Coin 388, XRP 61 cents.
How about Solana?
Well, so wait, I thought this was the ETH killer.
Yeah.
Is this not the ETH killer? Is Solana not the ETH killer?
No, the tweet now is please don't try to contact us outside of business hours. They might as well post a opened and closing.
Be back soon.
At this point. Yeah.
The stores where they can't afford to have multiple people working there, so at lunchtime they have to shut down. Like, be back in an hour.
Yeah, that was between this weekend. Reading Twitter between the Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale disaster and Solana going down, it really reminded me that this is we're in crypto. It's still, from a fundamental tech side, still very early when it comes to what we all imagine. And Solana going down and crashing the way it did, not just going down, not just desyncing, but literally crashing, just shows how far away it is from Ethereum, to your point.
It is very far from Ethereum.
Very far.
And everything is very far from Ethereum. There is nothing that is close to Ethereum. And anyone that tells you that narrative, because, it's so funny. And this is when we talk about perspective. Once again, we're talking about how long have you been here? How long have you been here? If you believed when the price of Solana was going through the moon because it's a great project,
right,
and it was going to be better than Ethereum, then you haven't had the perspective. You haven't been around long enough to understand you're going to see that happen all the time with projects. It's just speculation. It has nothing to do with what they actually have to offer as a project, okay? Use case utility, that comes later. I believe in the next cycle, we're finally going to start seeing utility and speculation work together somewhat. We've never seen that before, right? Nope. Like, there have been some events that have happened that have affected prices, like with Ethereum, the EIP 1559. I mean, obviously that was a big fundamental thing that changed Ethereum, then also affected the price. So there are some things that work hand in hand. Well, guys, when you see prices of projects ripping, it doesn't mean they're great projects. It means there's a lot of VC money flowing into it. There's a lot of people pumping the price. You don't think SBF was pumping that price of Solana? Yeah, come on, guys. Oh, open your eyes. Open your eyes. So, all right, let's look at the biggest gainers of the day. Biggest gainers of the day here. We have Phantom at 8%. OKB, Helium, but look at how much everything's down.
Everything's down for the week.
Look at the week. Whew. Zilliqa down 28%. Crow down 26%. Did you see a big CRO announcement yesterday?
I did, yeah.
Hey, getting rid of staking for their card? Interesting.
Getting rid of the rewards and stuff. I think probably has a lot to do with that same stuff that, they're getting pressured and, what we've been saying, get the staking rewards while you can was the message we were saying a lot last year. And these real stable staking rewards whether it's stable coins or, you know, like Celsius with the Cell token, Crow with the CRO, you know, they're coming after all of that from a regulation standpoint. So
it is all coming to fruition. All of these things that, look, what are a lot of these things we talked about last year? We talked about stable coins coming under fire. We talked about companies like Celsius will have to stop staking stable coins specifically, we said. But, you know, they did everything. Didn't see that coming. Crypto.com based on staking. CRO. I know they're you know, they're facing some heat right now. And you see this result. Now they're having to get rid of their, you know, part of their staking rewards program. We also talked to you about deflation. Where are we at now? You know, we are either in the beginning stages of it, or we're already here, or it's stagflation. We're definitely moving to something totally different. And that's really what's interesting to watch right now in the larger world economy, to see what's going to happen with this, because I feel like we could see an absolute economic crash any day. I feel like we could see it this week. I'm not saying it will happen this week. It wouldn't surprise me if we had a massive stock market crash this week. And let me tell you, we're going to talk about some of the housing market stuff here a little bit. The housing market people are just, they're so clueless right now. It's not going to crash. It's all fundamentals. Go back to 2007, and you can find who was the guy in charge of the Fed at the time, which Bernard Bernanke, I think. He was saying the same exact stuff. He was saying the exact same stuff. Well, yes, the prices are way up, and, you know, the market is very vibrant, and people are buying more homes ever that are being built and sold right now. But the fundamentals are good. That's what they say. You know, and your realtor, of course, is telling you this. All realtors believe the market's going to be healthy forever. They're in the business of telling you the market's going to be healthy. They don't care if you sell your house, and in between, you know, you selling your house and buying the next house, what happens to the market? They just care, you know, get that money in their pocket. That's what their business is, right? A realtor is not going to tell you to wait. Yeah, just wait another year. They're not going to tell you that, you know? So, anyways, guys, a lot of interesting stuff going on. Frank, you'll come talk about charts?
Frankie Candles. Talking some charts.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful day. We got a lot of interesting stuff to look at. We're going to look at some short-term stuff. You know, Bitcoin essentially just kind of same as it's been in the recent past here. Nothing too exciting going on. But I'm going to take a look. There are some time frames that are not looking too bad. And then I want to talk about this bear market thing, right? You know, you were just saying, you know, it's feeling like a bear market. Just take a look at some of these altcoins down significantly from their all-time highs. I mean, like big time. Just run through the alts, measure it, grab your measure tool on TradingView, measure them from the all-time highs down to where they are now. They are absolutely crushed. Feeling like a bear market. We're seeing a lot of things mimicking the bear market from 2018. So there's a lot of things adding up. So I kind of, you know, at the end here, once we go over the short-term price action that we've been seeing, I just want to go over looking at some moving averages and just seeing, you know, what we could be, you know, if we are going to get a big drop. We do have the blood diamond on the weekly, right? I do believe the monthly is also not looking that good right now. So I'm going to kind of give you guys an idea, show you some things that kind of add up to a decent drop. And, you know, if you measure these things out, they do coincidentally, if you apply them to the current prices now and measure it out, it does bring us down, if we were to see the price drop as it has in the past, bring us down to very key levels that we already have on the chart. So it would make a lot of sense. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So here we are, you know, I'm not even really going to show the weekly. I think you guys know the weekly is mimicking very closely to the bear market in 2018. But we did get, actually, let's just run through some of these. Daily, you know, on the bullish side, we are printing a green dot on the momentum wave here on the daily chart. So that is a good sign. And then some of these higher hourly time frames, not looking bad, looking like the 16-hour may be flattening out here, trying to find a shorter term bottom. 12-hour starting to kind of curve up there. Let's see, 10-hour. Yeah, nice curvature here on the 10-hour. Money flow coming up towards that zero line. So this stuff is not looking that bad. Same thing on the 8-hour and the 6-hour. Money flow coming up, not looking too bad. And then, you know, I do have these levels here, just short term. I do mostly want to focus on this bear market stuff today, so I'm just going to quickly go over here. We do have a point of control up here as well as a golden pocket, so I am going to see if we can work our way up here. I will be looking for a nice little scalp short off of this level. Should act as very strong resistance, and then we do also have a golden pocket and a value area or value area low down here, so that we should get some good support here as well. But really what I want to focus on is this bear market thing, because we've brought this up. I've brought it up. I know Ben has talked about it, just talking about how it's looking like a bear market. And we were talking about a couple weeks ago, and everybody's like, how could you possibly be bearish with all the adoption? And, you know, we're just showing you, I'm just showing you guys what's on the charts. And I just kind of want to try to make sense of some of this. So we could do this by looking at some moving averages. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 50-period moving average. And we're going to come over to the weekly chart just so we could kind of compare this to previous bull runs, right? And with the 50, so for the 50-week moving average, typically when we come below this, you know, we tend to come down a bit more. Actually, let me come up to this chart because this is, yeah, this has a little more history here. So this is right here, this top right here is in 2013. Now, if we zoom in a little bit here, I just do want to show you guys, right, as soon as, let me turn off Market Cipher A so this isn't confusing, right? So you have the 50-week moving average here. When you break through this moving average, typically you do struggle a little bit underneath it, and you continue to come down a bit, right? So if you measure here, when you break that 50-week moving average, you know, you tend to bottom out. This drop was about 70%, right? And then you're moving on, right? 2017 bull run, 2018 bear market, looking very similar, right? You break that 50-week moving average, you measure here, comes down for about, you know, almost a 60%, right? And the drop is a little less than that previous cycle in 2013 because the market matures, right? As you get more money into the asset, this asset tends to stabilize and the movements get less volatile, right? Similar to, Ben, what you say, where, you know, we haven't seen max euphoria in this cycle, so we might not see max pain, as well as the market maturing, might not be as much of a volatile move. So if you wanted to kind of, you know, take that number and adjust it for the current price, let me just zoom in a little bit here. So maybe we don't see a 60%, we're not, maybe not going to see a 70% drop or a 60% drop, but maybe a 45 or a 50% drop would seem a little more likely in this case. And you can see here, let me just get rid of my drawings here so we could clear up the chart here. Now, we have broken past this 50-week moving average, right? And if we measure from where we broke down, and if we were to come down about 45%, say, that would bring us right down, or if you bring it down to, say, 40%, that brings us right to these summer lows, which if you watch the show, you do know there's a strong golden pocket right there, which a lot of people think 29K could be the bottom, right? So 40%, we're not going to drop that full 50 or 60% maybe. If we drop 40, brings us right down to the golden pocket. And then what happens if we do drop a full 50%? Where would that bring us? It brings us right down to another very interesting number, and that is about $24,000, which is kind of, you know, I've said it a lot on the show. In my opinion, worst case scenario would be about mid to low 20s, right? 24K hits that mark almost perfectly. So, you know, and with the weekly blood diamond, the money flow in the red on the weekly and the monthly also now showing some bearish signs on Market Cipher A. I won't even dive that deep into it. I do think that if we get one of these 40 to 50% drops, it would make a lot of sense, especially because it brings us down to these key levels, such as the golden pocket, right? You have the golden pocket right here for that 40% drop to 29K. And I've been saying, you know, that's where I'm seriously starting to think, you know, this might be the bottom. Maybe we don't go into the mid to low 20s. But then if you get the 50% drop, it brings us to 24K. It all makes a lot of sense. It all lines up. And even just the structure of the price action looks very, very similar to the 2018 bear market. So I just wanted to show you guys that it's not just, you know, there are similarities here. You can go back in the chart and find these things. We're not just, you know, coming up here saying we're bearish because we're bearish. There are legitimate things to keep an eye on. Now, that's not to say that we can't take off from here and see something we've never seen. But when you have all these things adding up perfectly and mimicking what's happened in the past, you have to keep in mind that, you know, history could repeat itself as it typically does, at least rhyme pretty well. And then real close, just to check in on the DXY, as we usually do. DXY,
Jeez.
here we are. You know, we were saying we didn't know if it was going to get up here, but
I told you it was.
yeah, it's showing strength. We have broken out of this trend line.
Ooh.
Now on, yeah, not even, I think if you come to regular candles, you are going to show a little bit. Yeah, you got a little red candle there, red daily candle, now printing a green one. But back to the Heikinashis, if you come, say, to the 4-hour, just to zoom in on the price action, see what's happening. We have not come down to test this resistance as support.
This is why people who believe that Bitcoin is going to take over the world economy and it's going to be the world reserve currency like next year, they're idiots. It's not happening. Guys, the dollar still has a lot of strength left in this thing. This is not where all of a sudden tomorrow we're going to get a new system. We got to be in this for the longer term. You have to understand this is a battle, a series of battles in the midst of a much larger war. Guys, this dollar ain't finished yet. There's a chance this dollar goes up to a 110, maybe even on the index. If this breaks well above this resistance line, like guys, everyone, the only narrative the people in crypto seem to know, the only narrative the people in Bitcoin seem to know is the system is broken, get out of the dollar as quick as you can. We were telling people last year, take profits and keep it in dollars, actually. We're the only channel that was telling you this. People crucified us for it. Look at the dollar index. It ain't finished,
Absolutely. Guys. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I remember being in the old studio, hearing you say that, and I'm like, look at this. But we have not come down to test this resistance line as support. So maybe we see a short-term pullback here. As we were looking at Bitcoin, some of those higher hourly timeframes aren't looking horrible. So maybe the DXY pulls back to this trend line. We get a little bump up for Bitcoin. But if we find support on this trend line and we come up to make higher highs, that is definitely in the cards, which would not be good for Bitcoin, which would also support that 40 to 50% drop.
What's SPY looking like?
SPY checking in, losing support here. Let me go ahead and turn on Market Cipher.
Very pivotal point right now.
Get a yellow X on the 4-hour. These things are very powerful, and a lot of times you have to remember these things do come in twos, right? You get the first one, gives you a big drop, second one gives you a big drop, and then when you start seeing the third and the fourth, it could be indicating seller exhaustion, and that's when you start to bottom. But if we have another yellow X in store for here, this thing could come down a lot further, which obviously would also support Bitcoin getting that 40 to 50% drop. So there's just a lot of things pointing towards this. So we want to keep it, bring it to your attention. And that's about all I got for you guys.
That's right.
Yeah, history may repeat itself. That's all I got. Bing bong. 5:45 p.m. after ATB live stream. Back to Ben.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks. Yeah, this stock market thing is very worrisome, to be honest with you. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. If you guys like Frankie Candles, make sure to smash that like. If you like, we bring MTA people. We have other people on the show from time to time. Make sure that you guys smash the like button. Number one thing you can do as a member of the Bit Squad. So, been sold at 38,000. Want to buy back in at 24 to 26K. Shill the bear market. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. We haven't sold. We took profits the entire time. We've always taken profits. But we told you guys it would have been smart if we would have sold at 38K, and we didn't, And it turned out it would have been smart because it dropped all the way down to 33. But, guys, the market's just so volatile right now. This is my suggestion to you. Unlike low IQ people, like the guy that made that comment, don't do everything at one time. Don't pull all your money out of the market or put all your money in the market at one time. The people will hype you up and tell you that's a great idea, but it's always better to have a diversified strategy to prepare for situations like this. Have money on the sidelines. One of the things I'm hearing a lot of people say is they wish they had more stable coins. They wish they had more stable coins. So when you look at, when you look at the ability to be able to buy in at some of these low prices, that definitely would be something good to have. Bitcoin taps 39K, near protocol source 12%. So it was actually moving, one of the very few. So let's talk about what is going on with, I have a totally different.
Is this, I wonder?
That's last week's.
Okay.
That's from Friday, I think.
Right.
This is, can you see my screen?
No, that's okay.
Okay, I can move it there.
No, I can get it. It should.
Okay, yeah, that's, somebody should have pointed that out. Nobody noticed that?
Yeah, well, I guess it's part of the whole thing not being set up, but I didn't realize.
No, I will not stop calling people idiots. I see a lot of people in the chat saying that. I will not stop calling people idiots. Do you know the people I call idiots? People that make false accusations, that drop misinformation in my chat, that say things that they think they know about that could lead other people astray. I will not stop calling those people idiots because they are. And I would like to weed them out of our community. I would like to weed them out of the world, really. Those are people that are holding others back because they're miserable and they're sad because they've lost money, and so they want to blame everybody. And I don't put up with that here. If you're a member of the BitSquad and you ask legitimate questions, we will never call something a stupid question. But there are stupid people out there making stupid remarks that don't make any sense, that lead people astray. I'm sorry, I protect my flock. I shepherd my flock well, and I will protect them. So no, I will not stop calling those people idiots. And if that offends you, because I call that type of person an idiot, and they need to be removed from this community, then you're free to go too. Because I won't stand for it, period. If you want somebody to flip-flop, if you want somebody to not have a backbone, then by all means, go watch some other channels. You're not going to get that here. All right. We're going to be talking about the big Fed rate hike, ahead amid early signs hot inflation is peaking. April 29th, U.S. Federal Reserve policymakers look set to deliver a series of aggressive interest rate hikes, at least until the summer, to deal with hot inflation and surging labor costs. Surging labor costs, something I told you guys, comes along with deflation, okay? Even as two reports Friday showed tentative signs both may be cresting. Sharper higher food and gas prices lifted overall inflation to a new 40-year high, 6.6% in March, and more than triple the Fed's target. Hot inflation is why the central bank is widely expected to ramp up the pace of rate hikes with a half-point increase at each of its next 3 meetings. Contracts tied to the Fed's policy rate now show heavy bets on interest rates rising to a range of 3 to 3.25% by the end of the year. But the inflation measure tracked most closely by the central bank is a signal of underlying price pressures, known as the Core Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, slowed slightly to 5.2%. So are we starting to see maybe a peak here? Let's see. Several reports showed employees jacked up benefits to attract historically scarce workers, accelerating the pace of employment cost increase to 4.5% and underscoring the Fed's view that the labor market is extremely and perhaps unhealthily tight. But private wage growth leveled off at 5%. The reports won't stop the Fed from hiking by 50 bips next week, but it supports our view that inflation will fall a little more quickly this year than Fed officials now appear to expect. Well, the faster this happens, the better, Yeah. Maybe the worse for prices in the short term.
See, that's what I wish they would just accept. Like, we just need to get this pain over with. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be ugly, but let's do it, and then we can move forward. The problem is they're always trying to keep that pain from happening, and that's what gets us in a stickier and stickier situation.
Yeah. Scary charts looking at here. I tell you, you go back and you think about what happened with the pandemic, right? And then we think about stuff we talked about, World Economic Forum, right? Great Reset stuff, all real. If you guys haven't seen our Reset video, which today we're actually filming our next BitBoy special. This will be on very scary weapon that's on your phone. But the idea is there's going to be a Great Reset coming. Well, we're not seeing it in front of our very eyes right now. Does it not feel like the world is totally different today than it was 2 years ago?
Yes.
A little over 2 years ago, actually. The world is changing in terms of employment, in terms of how people go to work, how people want to work. And I've said this before, it's like people finally woke up one day and were like, oh, the crappiest jobs that nobody wants to do pay the least? Well, that's weird. Well, it's almost like it should be the other way around. Like nobody wants to do it, so you should have to pay more for that.
Yeah. And they talk at the group we go to for CEOs, they talk about the Great Resignation a lot when they're talking about the labor force. This is something I saw Gary Vee talking about a week or two ago. He's like, if you're worried about the Great Resignation, you're not even thinking about the Great Never Applied. All these young kids that are 16, 17, 18, 20 in college, they're like, yeah, I'll just make TikToks and do brand deals rather than work at Payless Shoes or, whatever, McDonald's.
Well, we're going to see this much faster move over to, AI running things. That is probably the next big thing we're going to see is a wave of industries being taken over by AI. Your fast food restaurants. I mean, guys, it probably won't be too long until we have a fast food restaurant that doesn't have a person, period.
Or like one person back there to like push a few buttons and keep everything going.
Do it remote, maybe.
They don't ever interact with the public.
Yeah. So what we're seeing with unemployment rates right now, and it's so weird. We've never seen unemployment rates that were high along with people not being able to hire workers. Like, let me tell you, if you own a business, if you own a small business or a medium-sized business and you're trying to hire people, it's extremely hard. I mean, we have guys at our C12 meeting every week that say, we just can't hire anybody. Nobody will work. And they can't find people. It's a much different market for jobs than we've seen before. And, you know,
especially entry-level positions.
Yeah. And then a lot of stuff with the supply chain. Seems like that's changed forever as well. So foreclosure filings are up 132% a year from a year prior.
That's scary.
Here's what that means for the housing market. When we were reading through real estate data this month, 3 stats caught our eye. The first is the number of active foreclosures edged up by more than 7,000 in March, the first year-over-year increase in almost 10 years. Weird. According to mortgage technology data and analytics provider Black Knight. Secondly, more than 78,000 properties had a foreclosure filing during the first quarter of 2022, which is up 39% from the previous quarter and up 132% from a year ago. And third, serious mortgage delinquencies, those 90 or more days past due, are 70% higher than they were pre-pandemic. Once again, supporting the idea that we are in a totally different time than we were in before. While the numbers seem grim, the pros say the reality isn't as bad as it looks. Here we go. You ready?
Here's the perma-bull denial real estate crowd.
Though active foreclosures are up year over year, the number of loans in active foreclosure is still way below historic norms. In average, prior to the pandemic, the country saw about 30 to 40,000 foreclosure starts per month. But the foreclosure moratoria that were put in place as part of the CARES Act drove all that normal activity to a halt. For the most part, the continued low foreclosure stats or starts are because the vast majority of folks who had taken advantage of forbearance have come out of such plans and returned to performing on their
That's not a good thing, though. No. Like, they're basically saying, oh, all these normal foreclosures that would normally churn through, we put them all on hold and gave them all free money. And so they're all backing up the system, which basically we removed any sell pressure. And now all that sell pressure is going to come back, but no big deal.
I tell you, they're probably also not factoring in here. Here's another thing that's interesting. Probably also not factoring in people that would end up in foreclosure, but instead they just sell their house because it's so easy to sell it for a very high price right now.
Yep.
So they're not counting those people in here, which is interesting. So, anyways, what does this mean all for home buyers and sellers? Pros say you shouldn't expect a shift in the housing market as a result of foreclosure upticks. How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Because there's more foreclosures, don't expect any change in the market. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. All right. No Bitcoin, please.
Okay.
Warren Buffett says he won't pay even $25 for all the Bitcoins in the world. This guy. I tell you what an idiot. Bitcoin is not for everybody. Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett, who previously lamented about not knowing where to invest his money, claimed crypto are not a productive asset and that he would not acquire the entire Bitcoin. He would not acquire the entire Bitcoin in the market, even at a price of $25.
Real quick, yes, he's a great investor. He's done very well money-wise, but he's not anybody to look at as an example of forward-thinking, early adopter, quick mover to anything. So,
no, not at all.
Tech. He's never been a tech guy. So I wish he would just say like, "Hey, I'm not a tech guy. Don't ask me about Bitcoin." Instead, he makes ridiculous comments like this.
This guy is pure establishment. The way you said, yeah. I mean, guys,
I would agree.
Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett are the exact depiction of what people are tired of.
Yeah.
That's what people are tired of.
The old guard.
The old guard. It's time to move into something new. They're part of the system that everybody hates, that everybody has been broken by. They perpetuate it. That's what they want. Okay. So it doesn't surprise me at all. They continue to say this negative stuff because once again, where are we at right now in crypto? Bear market. Okay. We're in bear market right now. This stuff plays very well in a bear market. If this were when Bitcoin was at $60,000, people would be killing him over it. This is how you know that you're still early. In bull markets, it does not feel like you're early. It feels like you're late, right? In bear markets, suddenly the values start moving around to more where they should be appropriately. And you start realizing like, oh, if he thinks this about Bitcoin, then wow, we're still really early on this. If you think you've missed Bitcoin or even Ethereum, like you're still way early in Web3 related stuff, metaverse, NFTs, way early.
It's funny. Over the weekend, we were hanging out with Z, Crypto Necos, who we met a lot in the bear market. Yeah. We were talking about going to crypto meetups and events in 2018 and 2019, and how
we get more people to meet up than they used to get at conferences.
Yeah. It was insane. In the bear market, it literally was like 30 people sitting in a circle of chairs. He even said the first time he went to Stash's Long Beach meetup, so I thought I was walking into an AA meeting. Like it was just like it's a room with concrete floors and everybody picks up their own folding chair and has a coffee, and you just sit there and say like, yeah, I'm into crypto too. Like I think we're early, or maybe we're late, or maybe we missed it. Who knows? But yeah.
Well, like I always talk about, it's a snowball. So when this bear market, is in the depths, which we may be close to. When this bear market's in the depths, the number of people that are interested in crypto are way higher than they were in the last bear market. But if you compare, this to what was going on when prices were great, then it doesn't look very good. But if you compare bear market numbers to bear market numbers, we're still highly up compared to the last bear market in terms of number of people watching YouTube, number of people searching Bitcoin. Absolutely. The amount of dedicated crypto people you get with each cycle increases. Yeah. And those people never leave. That's why, it's so stupid that they're always showing these stats, Pomp and Will Clement and stuff. Like, look at how many people have now held their Bitcoin for 1 year and never moved it. Yeah, that number should always be increasing. Like,
it will be.
It's not magic. It's not saying there's anything great about Bitcoin right now. It just means that you keep adding more people into crypto that believe in it for the long term with every cycle. That's why when we talk about Bitcoin supply and demand, when we look at the halving and less Bitcoin being produced each day or, every cycle, that's why it's going to dry up. That's why this is the greatest asset ever in the history of the world. Because eventually there won't be any room to add more people into the fray that are holding their Bitcoin for over 12 months, because there will be so many people doing it already and there will be much less produced. These are the things that Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett cannot wrap their old brains around.
Or they don't want to.
Well, at this point, they're brainwashed into believing that what they think is correct. I mean, why would they not? I mean, if you're a billionaire, why would you not think everything you know is correct? But we see this at the end of a lot of these people's lives, is they're not willing to make a change to the next thing because it's too much work. And obviously, does Warren Buffett use an iPhone, you think?
I have no. They say he doesn't even use the internet. No email.
Does he have a rotary phone?
Yeah.
He probably does.
Who knows?
Is Pluto Alliance money giveaway today from Artie Wolf? No, we're actually delaying it 24 hours because the staking platform went down on Thursday for a couple hours. And we wanted to make sure everybody who has the opportunity to get the drop has the opportunity to go to that website. It is staking.plutoalliance.com and stake your alien there. So
it's in the description and was also pinned in the chat.
Charlie Munger calls crypto stupid and evil, adding that it makes him look horrible. Even if he purchased all crypto, he would sell it back. If you told me you had every Bitcoin in the world and sold it to me for $25, I would decline because I have no idea what I would do with it. I'd have to sell it back to you somehow. It will accomplish nothing. Basically, here he's just saying like, hey, I'm so old that I would have no idea how in the world I would be able to sell it if I bought it.
And this is the other thing to keep in mind, too, with what you're talking about being a bear market, is the market will also drive media, right? Like, he's always making comments like this, but when the price is pumping, they're not going to publish this because it's not going to get him clicks. When the price is going down, you're a lot more likely to get a story like this to get clicked on. Yeah. So,
and here's Elon Musk mocking Warren Buffett. We seem to have some things in common these last few weeks here.
Yeah.
More than we ever had in the past. Elon Musk weighs in. He says, after Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett slammed Bitcoin, Tesla CEO Elon Musk mocked the legendary investor, During the week when Bitcoin Jesus resurfaced, Buffett took aim at Bitcoin. Also, Jesus of Bitcoin named his top contenders. Who is this?
Yeah,
who is he talking about?
Are they talking about Vair?
That's what I was wondering.
No, Andreessen.
Andreessen?
Him and Mark Andreessen were going back and forth a lot, but I didn't realize they would call him.
I mean, that's where is that? No, I mean, Bitcoin Jesus Roger Ver. That's why I'm confused why they would say that. That's really weird. Okay, anyways, back to what he said. Let's get to his tweet here. Let's see here. Talked here. For Buffett, assets have value. Crypto community responds. Over the weekend, Buffett's remarks were ridiculed by Bitcoin supporters on Twitter, including crypto evangelist Elon Musk. Haha, he says Bitcoin so many times.
Oh, I saw that. It is funny. He does say Bitcoin like 4 times in 2 sentences.
Bitcoin. Apart from well-targeted criticism, the rest of crypto chimed in. Mark Andreessen, a co-founder of A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz, says that it's wild that it's wild he says this stuff while openly marketing diabetes in reference to a group of seized candy boxes and soda cans on Buffett's desk during the speech. I don't have a problem with there being some candy on there. Come on, man. That's a cheap shot. Let's just talk about how old he is, you know, which is ironic because we're all going to be that old one day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to not mimic his the way that he has taken on this old age in terms of his brain. But additionally, CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, added everyone can't stop talking about Bitcoin. Mexican billionaire businessman and Grupo Salinas founder said it was sad to see Buffett speak about a subject he clearly doesn't comprehend. I think we're all on board with that. So anyways, there we go. Basically, long and short of it, he's old, out of touch. I wouldn't listen to anything he says. Is Warren Buffett really a person that you should try to model your investing patterns after?
That's what I'm saying.
In general.
Not unless you're old. Like if you're trying to preserve wealth, maybe, but if you're trying to generate wealth.
How did he get to be so rich?
He invested when the stock market was exploding. You know, he just got into investing. Basically, he was building an investment firm as we moved away from the gold standard. So all assets were incredible, you know, going up a lot. He's just a stock market guy. He used to buy companies that had a little bit of value left in them, extract the value and sell it, more or less, and then got better and better. Bought Coke early on and some big companies that had dividends, took the dividends, reinvested them. And it wasn't anything, these days, it's not anything fancy. It's just the benefit of the entire market going up, you know, and surviving through crashes and being financially sound and safe. He's a very conservative long-term investor. So that's worked really well as they've printed insane amount of dollars and kind of blown up all asset classes. But if you're new to the market, it won't work.
Yeah. Well, I think when you look at Warren Buffett, you just think billionaire, you think investor, but you think he's got a ton of money to invest. Like what did he start with? Doing some research here. Started with $1,000 when he was 10. That's what it says.
Yeah.
So he's been investing since he was 10 years old. So he's been obsessed with it ever since then. It took him 20 years to turn that into $1 million. But he became a millionaire actually because of a lot of partnerships that he had, which was interesting. So I would be very interested to look into all this. Because here's my point here. Is this a person that you could mimic what he did and get to where he's at? Or did he have some access to some information or people or money that normal people don't have access to?
He was pretty bootstrap regular guy. You know?
Yeah, what it looks like.
From what you can tell. But it just took a long time. And like what I'm saying is, if you were a regular guy back then, yes, you could still do it. But in today's market, I think it's a much different market.
Yeah. Yuga Labs botches NFT drop with bad code, blames Ethereum. This was bad. Now, we have people trying to get this to work for us, and none of them got it, I don't think.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people, several people lost thousands of dollars trying to do this.
The $310 million Other Deeds land sale quickly became the biggest NFT drop in history. Not everyone who tried to snag an NFT is happy. Bored Ape Yacht Club creator Yuga Labs has faced backlash after its highly anticipated Other Deeds drop. Huge demand for the NFTs resulted in exorbitant gas fees, leaving many hopeful mentors out of pocket and out of hand. The biggest drop in history has left many people reeling. Yuga Labs launched its Other Deed NFT drop early Sunday morning, allowing those who had previously passed KYC verification to take part in the highly anticipated mint. Other Deeds are NFTs representing plots of land in Yuga Labs' upcoming metaverse called Otherside. While Yuga Labs is set to divulge details on Otherside, it has touted the new offering as a meta RPG, where everyone can bring their own NFT avatars and build in a single unified space. Despite the public supply sitting at over 55,000, demand for the drop far outweighed supply. When the mint opened at 2 a.m. on Sunday, gas fees on Ethereum quickly rose to absurd levels. Wait till you hear how much. So hopeful mentors offered bigger and bigger tips to Ethereum miners to get their transactions processed first. Additionally, as every Ethereum block being mined was at max capacity, the base fee on the network quickly rose. Listen to this. Those minting were regularly paying upwards of 2.5 ETH as gas fees. Ridiculous. To have their transactions processed, significantly more than the cost of the 305 ape coin needed to mint the Other Deed NFTs, which is still also a lot of money. However, spending thousands of transaction fees was no guarantee of success. One mentor who goes by ShoeFeelMe on Twitter reported paying 7,000 gas fees, waiting 2.5 hours only to have their transaction canceled when the mint sold out. That means they lost it, right?
Yeah, that happened to tons.
Taco lost an ETH.
Yeah.
And Johnny lost half an ETH.
Yep.
Sorry,
and
guys.
I don't know if this article is going to get into it, but there's a lot of people out there saying this wasn't necessarily an accident. That it was a very poorly designed contract that wasn't set up to optimize gas fees at all. And this was all designed to give them a very strong narrative to move to their own chain and, give more utility to Ape and kind of push the price of Ape coin up more.
Do you think that's true? I don't think so. I think the negativity from this drop is going to hurt them more than help them.
I mean, the main thing is that the fact that they tried to blame ETH. When there's one tweet that they wrote that pretty much said like, oh, well, all this could have been avoided if we were on our own chain. But there's also tons of people
But whose
saying
decision is to go in their own chain?
the DAO. And then they push the DAO like, oh, hey, we want to push you all to strongly consider this. Is basically what the tweet from Yuga Labs said.
It makes sense.
And, from what everybody else in the ETH community is saying, this could have been very easily avoided if the contract was written a little better.
Yeah. Let's see. 154,000 ETH were traded. Other Deeds, the 8th most traded collection ever, less than 48 hours after it's mint. Very interesting here. See what's going to happen. This stuff must be reselling for insane amounts already.
Yeah. Well, what's sad is this was kind of designed, maybe not designed this way, but it was creating an opportunity for some people that maybe didn't get a chance to mint an ape early on. They've been priced out of the Yuga Labs community. This was going to be their opportunity to hopefully mint and be involved in the community without having to have a crazy amount of money.
Instead, they just gave away a bunch of Ethereum.
Well, yeah, instead they gave away Ethereum, made a lot of people buy ape that weren't able to do it. And guess who ended up minting most of the land? More whales, that people that had a lot of apes and were already involved in the community. So it ends up with the rich getting richer again. And a lot of the new people that wanted to partake in the metaverse or their network or ecosystem are left, holding the bag or standing on the sidelines. So it's just, regardless of if it was intentional or accidental or whatever happened, it's just really sad to see it get botched that bad because, this is kind of one of the premier NFT projects, and we want to see it go well.
It's a coin that may have some strength in even a bear market.
Right.
So could this end that? I don't know. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Moving on here. Ethereum whales have accumulated $407 million in ETH in just 10 days. Analytics firm Sentiment. Now, does this mean prices are going up? This is the narrative people give you. It does not mean prices are going up. It means that people consider this to be a decent price to buy. The market intelligence firm says it holds whales holding between 1,000 and 10,000 Ethereum suddenly have added a combined 142,000 ETH worth $407 million. Ethereum's key stakeholders showing some accumulation, adding 142,000 more ETH to their bags over the past 10 days. After a long dump going back to mid-December, this is the most sustained level of accumulation we've seen in over 4 months. So you can see we broke above this support or resistance line here. Sandman says, sorry, y'all get this way. Hey, drive a drink. Binance Coin has seen the largest grouping of whale transactions since early March. Furthermore, analytics firm is warning investors that the heavy volatility displayed across crypto markets over the weekend should continue as the Federal Reserve's next interest rate hike decision approaches. Long and short of it is, people are going to tell you that, this is a bullish story, means prices are going up soon. Doesn't necessarily mean that. We might see a little pump here, but what Frank was showing on the daily chart, we might see a little bit of a move up here before heading back down. Ethereum token standards explained. So if you're curious about this, ERC20, that's the normal token standard, and then these other ones are, of course, NFTs. I'm not going to go into this story too much today. If you want to know the difference between Ethereum tokens, I'm sure you hear us say this, ERC20. You might have heard us talk about it, 721, 1155. I think the guy from Engine created the 1155, maybe the 721.
No, I think you're right. I think it is 1155.
1155. These are token standards on Ethereum. So we're running out of time today, so I'm going to skip past it. Solana suffers 7th outage in 2022 as bots invade the network. Guys, I thought that Solana was the ETH killer. I thought this was the next Bitcoin. The network's going to be so good. All of a sudden, it's just going to destroy everything that was in front of it. I mean, Solana moving up the charts, and then how many times has this thing been paused or crashed?
7, apparently.
7. That's just in 2022. Didn't it have some last year too?
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Probably.
And the first time it was paused was last year.
Testnet and some of that stuff.
Solana suffers 7th outage in 2022 as bots invade the network. Solana network suffered a 7-hour outage between Saturday and Sunday due to a large number of transactions from the NFT minting bots. Record-breaking 4 million transactions, or 100 gigabytes or gigabits of data per second, congested the network, causing validators to be knocked out of consensus, resulting in Solana going dark. It wasn't until 7 hours later that validators were able to successfully restart the network. The bots hoarded a popular application used by Solana NFT projects to launch collections called Candy Machine. Twitter post by Metaplex, the company confirmed that traffic from bots on their app was partially to blame for the network crash. Metaplex shared that it would be implementing a 0.01 Solana, or 89 cents at the time of the writing, charge on wallets that attempt to complete an invalid transaction, which is typically done by bots that are blindly trying to mint. The outage caused the price of Solana to crash 7% from $89 all the way down to 84 and then back above 89. So I didn't know where it was. It dropped 7% to $84. The most recent outage marks the 7th time this year that Solana has suffered outages, anywhere from 8 hours to 18 hours. Solana said high compute transactions caused a reduction in network capacity, several thousand transactions per second. Later in January, over 29 hours of downtime was recorded. In September of 2021, also, so last year, Solana was hit with a major outage, with the network offline for over 17 hours.
That's the tweet.
That's the tweet.
And I see people in the comments saying I was pushing, like hyping it up a lot last year, and I did talk well about it, and it is a good project. I don't, but we always said it's not an Ethereum killer, and that's the main point. Like when these new things
we said
come
good
out
stuff about Solana, but it's to the point where it's not where Ethereum is. Like, you've got to let it get stress tested.
Exactly.
Ethereum has been out since 2016.
And we did talk about that a lot. That these new technologies are great. These new solutions are cool. But until you put a load on the network, it's really hard to tell if it's going to hold up or not. And that's what we're seeing. Yeah. Just one bot attack, can take it down. And if people know that's all it takes, that's not a secure network.
But we were talking about Solana when it was $2, So right now, obviously, it is, I lost my train of thought. Somebody was talking about me showing my trading account. I don't trade, guys. But anyways, we think Solana is good over time. I think in 4 years, Solana's going to be in a totally different place. And I think there's going to be some adoption there. I don't think it's ever going to be bigger than Ethereum. I think Cardano is going to be bigger than Solana. But I do put Solana in that second tier. Your first tier, Ethereum. That's your first tier. Nothing else. Second tier, Cardano, Solana, maybe Elrond. We've talked about some other ones as well. Maybe Terra Luna, stuff like that.
speculating on new change to potentially become Ethereum killers, that's a great way to make a lot of money. And that's what we do. We have a lot of our stuff in Ethereum, and we're always looking, what's that next layer 1 smart contract platform that could be really good? You get in early, you ride the pumps, and then you start
ICP maybe?
Maybe.
Wait, do you think there is a layer 1 protocol out there that doesn't exist yet? Do you think we're going to see more, or do you think that we're seeing these things take so long to really get going that pretty much what's out there is out there?
Both. I think we'll always see more for a series, for a period of time.
I don't know if we will.
I think so. Like forks and, like we're not going to see people just stop innovating. I do think it will get harder and harder for a layer 1 to get up into that discussion, because you do have to overtake big chains like, all these ones we just talked about, Avalanche, Polkadot, Cardano. There's just getting to be more and more and more. And the tech and the dev community can only go so far. So at some point it becomes a battle for developers.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I just think, like, when you got these ecosystems going, you got more and more people building on them. Solana ecosystem is going to be large. Ethereum ecosystem is very gigantic. Cardano is starting to really get up there. Cosmos. I mean, you got a lot of these projects that are really having so much built on them that where is the room for another one to come in? Like, I just don't know. Like, when you got all these DeFi protocols that are going to be running all this TVL, like, at some point it makes more sense for developers to start building on the winners instead of trying to build a new winner.
Yeah.
Because your chance of success building on Ethereum compared to trying to build the next Ethereum, dramatically different, right? Like, we've seen thousands of layer 1s that haven't made it, So I don't know, something to think about there. All right. Near attacked, Near Protocol's Rainbow Bridge attacker, 2.5 ETH loses. It's a bad, poorly written article or title. It all started when the attacker sent some ETH through the popular coin mixer Tornado Cash on May 1st. He deployed a contract to raise some funds to become a legitimate Rainbow Bridge relayer. Main purpose was to send fabricated light client blocks. According to Shvenko, Bridge Watchdog identified that the block submitted was not in the Near blockchain, and in turn created challenge transaction and sent 2.5 ETH. I'm not going to really get too much into this. Just know Near Protocol was attacked on a DeFi bridge. There you go. XRP news. Throw the X up if you're in the chat. If you're in the XRP army.
Wait, you seem a little sleepy. I was a little sleepy. Yeah, do that X again. Yeah.
It's a very busy day today. Today is BitBoy Special Production Day, so I'm in production all day.
Oh.
Except, which I won't be going to the gym today, by the way.
Oh, we didn't even, you're not?
No, Wes has me downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Our director, Wes.
Oh, interesting. We never even.
Wes is here. He's in the room. Oh, God.
Busted. Okay, don't say anything bad.
Yeah, we rename our director based on how serious he's taking things. He's not Coyote Peterson. People think he's Coyote Peterson.
Director Wes.
Director Wes. Wes Anderson, Wes Craven, combination of the both. I don't know. So we're in production all day. I come up here, do the show, and then I go right back to it. So
I just realized we never even talked about our trip.
Never talked about the trip.
Just got back Friday, and we're right back to it.
Yeah, let's talk about tomorrow.
Okay,
we're almost at time.
Just don't let us forget, guys. Remind us. That was a good trip.
No, it was a great trip.
About politics.
Man, I learned a lot about politics while I was gone.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
All right.
SEC files to protect crucial documents related to Ripple case. SEC has filed to have documents shielded that show its former finance director acknowledged that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. William Hinman said in a speech in 2018, according to his understanding, current offers and sales of Ether are not security transactions. New motion includes the reassertion of the SEC's case that Hinman's statements fall under attorney-client privilege. I don't understand the way that court cases work. It seems just like very similar to the way that the political system works, the government works.
Very complicated, very convoluted, and not designed to be logical.
Like, Tom Crown in the chat wearing his Bitcoin hoodie. Shout out to Tom Crown. It just seems like, how many times can you appeal something? Like, haven't they been arguing about this for the entire case? And the decision just came out, like, we're going to definitely be able to show these. And then he's like, no, actually you can't because of this. Like, wait, didn't we just go over all that? I don't understand how all this works. I feel like you should get one shot. You can ask or you can motion. And if it gets shot down, then it is what it is. This constant begging and badgering by the SEC, it really makes them look pathetic, in my opinion, which big surprise. They are pathetic. The judge denied the SEC's appeal. They already did that last month. So why aren't we still going through this? I don't really know. But anyways, guys, still looking for this case to end probably beginning of next year at this point, unfortunately, or the end of this year, maybe at best. But it looks like this thing may drag out even longer than we ever imagined. I mean, this thing is now, here's what they say. They say they don't want this case to go on for over 2 years. So the 2-year date is very important, which is in December of this year.
Who says that? The SEC?
I was reading an article. I can't remember who it was. I wish I could show it right now. And basically what it was saying is that like 2 years is kind of a precedent for SEC cases. And if it drags on for over 2 years, then it makes them look bad. I don't know. Who does it look bad to? I don't know. That's what it said. All right. Let's see. We got this. CRO hits a low for the year. Crypto.com slashes rewards on its cards. Nothing they can do there. They were probably made to do that by the SEC. DeFi total value lock sinks nearly 20%. Crypto to be accepted by one of the world's top luxury gyms. Oh, that's cool. Luxury gym. That's great. You can now, maybe you can get a Bitcoin miner going on the treadmill. Smartphone text prediction guesses crypto hodler's seed phrase.
I know you're joking, but that would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it would be. Well, Steppen.
I was about to say, put
Steppen.
Brian on there with his sneakers. He can just come in the office and run all day. He's committed to that. 2 runs a day, 2 5-mile runs every day.
Brian?
Yeah. He's been crushing. He said he's losing tons of weight because he's
already skinny.
You're getting incentives and you get bonuses for the more you do daily. So he's like, it's killing him not to miss, but it makes a difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's do Q&A real quick. Let's do a question or two. I got to run.
Yeah, we'll do them quick. One that just came through in a minute. Hey, Ben and TJ, do you think we still have the opportunity to become a millionaire in the bear market with institutions involved?
Yeah, because, I mean, institutions are only investing in a certain number of coins. I mean, I think, look, plenty of people became millionaires through the last bear market. People want to become millionaires in a bull market, but it's the seeds that you plant in the bear market that really gets you to the next level. So, I think the opportunities definitely exist. I think the opportunities are going to be slightly less because I don't think we're going to see drops as big as we've seen before because we didn't get the max euphoria. But I also think that this sets us up possibly for a Bitcoin hypercycle where maybe we are running back up to all-time highs as the halving is actually occurring instead of, well afterwards. Because we didn't get the top. Some people were making the comment that, Elon Musk stopped the top, basically, with his environmental tweet of FUD last year. I think that is possible that did have, did factor in. But that means that we didn't get to the euphoria we should have gotten to. You always eventually get there. So, maybe in the next cycle, we get to levels above where we thought we were going to get to.
All right. Can you give us a rough estimate to when you think we will top out in the next bull
run? That is something we actually
probably time to start doing some of those calculations.
Well, we did one last week, and then Frank was gone, and he couldn't film his part in the video. So we have our first in a series of videos looking at those kinds of numbers. It's supposed to be out this weekend. It didn't get out this weekend. It'll be out next weekend. So there you go. So we'll start looking at that. Right now, we're looking at when do we hit all-time highs again. We're not looking at when does the cycle peak out, but when do we hit all-time highs again? So you guys know when Bitcoin hit its all-time highs in December, we missed it by 7 days on a prediction we had a year and a half before. 7 days we missed when Bitcoin broke all-time highs. I didn't remember that day. Wasn't it like December 23rd or something? It happened on the 17th.
Something.
I think that's yeah. I forgot it. We even did those videos back then. Mm-hmm. So we'll be looking at it. No channel gives you the deep dives and research into the Bitcoin cycles like this one. So, all right, guys, that's what we got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Be blessed. Good boy out.